Hi everyone, my name is Nghề, and today we have Mr. Jin right here. And
Yes, my name is Staff Sergeant Win. I am a recruiter with the United States Army.
okay, cool. So I have a few questions, but my very first question: why do you want to join the army?
Okay. I never thought I would do this as my profession, but I found out later on in life that I always had something in me that I want to do something, much bigger than I was. I want to be a part of something great. So being part of the Army gave me an opportunity to fully explore my potential and to see what I can do to make an impact in the world. So that's why I joined.
Okay, cool. So how long have you been in this position as an army recruiter?
I've been in the Army for about 10 years now. As a recruiter, I've been a recruiter for a year and a half.
A year and a half. So you just come to Houston?
So yes, I moved here to Houston about a year and a half ago.
Oh, cool. So how do you like Houston?
Houston is awesome. I mean, we love my wife and I love food, so we enjoy going out to eat at a lot of the restaurants around here.
Yeah, as you know, as I know that Houston is a food city. They call it food city. So
yes.
We have a lot of food in here. Yeah. To make people more understand about the army, I have divided the question into three main topics. So the first one is the lifestyle in the army. The second one is the benefit, and the last one is the requirement. So about the lifestyle. So my biggest question, and I think that's the biggest question for people, that they always concerned that do we have to go to the far in combat when we join the army?
Okay, so yes, this is a very big question I always face with, and the answer is no.
Oh.
Okay. The only time you go into combat is if you were to actually pick a combat job in the Army. So that's a big misconception about the military and the Army specifically. In the Army, you actually have the choice of over 160 different jobs, and only about 10 of them have to deal with combat. So if you don't like to, be exposed in that environment, we have a lot of different jobs and opportunities for you to explore.
So during the time we're in the army, can you get married? Can you get married in the army?
Yes, you can definitely get married. You can definitely find your loved one in the army, or around the army. But there's always also extra opportunities for you too, as being a married couple in the army, such as benefits for your spouse, like full medical care. Full medical coverage insurance, and also dental, and also additional things like helping you pay for a house or living expenses as well.
What is the difference between National Guard, Army Reserve, and active duty Army?
Okay, the Guard, the Army National Guard has mostly to do with just serving the state. So if you were to serve in the National Guard, you would just serve, like say here in Texas, you would serve the Texas National Guard. So you only stay here in Texas. The Reserves is you're working for the Army, the bigger organization of the Army, but you stay here in Texas. But the difference is you don't work for the state, you work for the federal government. All right? And then active duty is that you work full-time in the actual Army, and you could be stationed anywhere in the world or the U.S.
The Army Reserve, that's the part-time, right?
Yes, the Army Reserve is part-time. You only do 1 week in a month, which is a Saturday and Sunday, and that's going to be up to you, when do you want to do that time.
Okay, and so, for example, is that the same benefit of the Army Reserve with the full-time Army?
So there are some differences in the Reserve versus the full-time Army. Obviously, if you do part-time, you're going to get less benefits than the full-time. But sometimes people don't want to be away a long time from their family, or they want to stay here in Houston and be a full-time student. Then the Reserve option is the best route, and it will give you up to $4,000 per year to pay off to your education. And also, in the meantime, they also offer you some stuff like subsidized medical insurance. So instead of paying, I think it's about $200 for a single person, for healthcare, it's only about $50 for a copay, and then you take care of everything for your medical expense.
Can I join the Army and still stay in Houston?
Yes, so Reserve, like I said, is your best option. But if you feel adventurous and you want to see the world, you know, the bigger option is full-time active duty.
For active duty army, can you go home to visit the family?
Yes, so you can go home to visit the family. In the active army, it's actually not that different from working a job in the civilian world, because in actuality, the real big difference is in the morning we work out. We like to work out and stay in shape, you know? So you might wake up a little bit early to work out, but besides that, you still show up to work at 9, and you always go home at 5, you know? And then you get 30 days paid vacation every year, so you can take that whenever to go home whenever you want to. But yeah, it actually sounds like normal everyday life, right?
What's the lifestyle look like in the army?
Yes, lifestyle is kind of diverse in the army, but it really depends on what you do in the army. So let's say you are an accountant in the army, right? That's more office type lifestyle. So you show up, you know, work out in the morning, and then from 9 to 5 you just do accounting paperwork for the army, and then you go home. Okay?
Okay.
But if you're like me, you know, and I like to be outside, I like to what I do in the army is called infantry, and that's a combat job. And so what we do is we train a lot. We shoot guns, and we kind of explore that, you know, we'd like to be tough. So we train out in the jungle. So that lifestyle is a little bit different. You know, we go out every 2 weeks to train in the field. Then we come back, and then we rest up for 2 weeks, and then we come back out again to train. So it's a different lifestyle, but just depend on how you want to live your life. You know, the different jobs in the army will kind of tell you what kind of lifestyle you're living.
So how many career fields does the army have?
The army is pretty vast. I think currently we have over 11 different types of career fields. Everything ranging from medical, information technology, logistics, law enforcement, to even a career in aviation. And I mean, you know, some of the hot jobs now are coming out of the technology field for aviation, including drone pilots. We also have a lot of new jobs for drone pilots and cybersecurity. Based
on your experience, that how you compare the army lifestyle with the normal lifestyle?
So the lifestyle, I would say for a large amount of the army, about like, you know, more than half, the lifestyle would be you wake up, you know, around 6 o'clock, and then we at 6:30, you know, we get together and we go exercise. So we could do things like running, swimming, or play a sport, or go to the gym. You know, there's free gym membership, you know, in the army. So we do one of those, and then after we get done about an hour, we get finished about like 7:30. So between 7:30 to 9 o'clock, you know, we go eat breakfast, and then we go take a shower, and then we just show back up to work at 9 o'clock in this uniform, and then just do what we sign up in the army to do, all right? And then around 11 o'clock, 11:30, we break for lunch, and then we have lunch from 11:30 till 1 o'clock. It's about an hour and a half lunch, so that's a lot of time to eat or sleep, whatever you want to do. And then from 1 o'clock to 4 or 5 o'clock, whenever, you know, you finish your work, you're done for the day. It's just like everyday life, right?
Yeah.
So about half the army, that's pretty much what the lifestyle is, right? And then the other half, like me, you know, we work a little bit longer, but at the same time, when we have off, we have a lot more off time. So it's different time, you know, especially if the difference between, you know, working in an office or going to the field to train, you know, so it's different lifestyle like that.
If someone they interested in the medical or IT, what can they do in the army?
If you're interested in the medical field or the IT field, we have a lot of jobs. I mean, in the medical field alone, we have 23 different jobs. Everything ranging from patient administration specialists to practical nursing specialists to radiology, ENT, behavioral health, dental hygienists. So you can learn to become a dentist if you want to. We have, you know, full scholarship programs in medical field. So if you want to pursue a doctorate degree in the medical field, the Army is going to pay 100% of your tuition, and also at the same time give you a paycheck to be a full-time student. And so when you graduate and you have completed your doctor's degree, you can come back and become a doctor in the Army, which they give you the same rate or competitive rate comparable to a doctor in the outside world as well. In the IT field, we give you about choices of 17 different jobs. All right, everything ranging from cable installer to like learn how to network, to IT specialists, which deal with fixing computers or fixing software in the computers, to now the newest job we have out, and it's called the 17 series, and it has to do a lot with cyber warfare, cybersecurity, networking, and coding. So if you are interested in those high-tech jobs, Army is looking for very talented, high potential capacity people that can fill those positions. Yeah, you can do a lot of different cool things. We have in the IT field too, where we have a special program where we have partnerships with Microsoft and also other high-tech companies. So if you, let's say, want to intern at Microsoft, after 2 years of working in the Army, you can intern over at Microsoft, and they give you a shot for 1 year, kind of check to see how you work. If they like you, they're going to send a letter back to the Army saying, hey, we want to keep this guy. And so what the Army does is that you cut your contract short so you can work for Microsoft directly, or you can come back and work with the Army again. So it's up to you.
So the student who receive the scholarship, how long have they stay in the Army?
So the program is called the Professional Health Scholarship, and that's all you need is about working in the Army for 2 years in a medical field. And let's say you're interested all of a sudden to become a registered nurse, right? So to go to become a registered nurse, I would recommend doing a practical nursing specialist for 2 years, get that hands-on experience. The Army gives you all the training and certification, but then you can apply for a school, like let's say Baylor or any kind of medical school that you want to go to, and apply for, for the classes, get approved, and then apply for the Professional Health Scholarship, and then the Army takes you out of the Army and puts you into that school, and now you're going to be a full-time student. And I think it takes about 6 or 7 years to get a professional nursing degree. And then once you finish your 6, 7 years of professional nursing degree, you come back into the Army as a registered nurse. And then all the Army asks in return is that you work as a registered nurse in the Army for 6 or 7 years to pay back the tuition that they give you, to go to school.
Okay. Okay, now we will move on to a new topic, that the benefit.
Okay.
Okay, so can you tell me, generally, what is the benefit of joining the Army?
So the benefits of joining the Army, besides serving your country and being all you can be and seeing what your potentials are, a lot of first off, it's not an easy job. I'll say that it's not meant to be easy. If it was easy, everyone could do it. And since because it's a challenging job in a very challenging field, there's a lot of rewards if you can do it. So some of the rewards that we offer is if you go into active duty, after end of your contract, we give you a $65,000 scholarship to go to any school you want to go to. And then while you're going to become a full-time student, we also give you an allowance. So help you pay for food or lodging when you go to school, right? So that's one of the benefits you get. All right, and then the other benefit you get is connection with other veteran groups. All right, so the labor force today has a lot of competition. You have a lot of competition in the workforce. A lot of people with degrees are graduating with degrees now more than ever. So, a lot of people that just graduated, they need to find a way to separate themselves from everyone else. And so one of the best ways for you to separate yourself from everyone else is to have a special experience in your belt. So once you complete your service, you're now known as a veteran or someone who has served your country. That's going to elevate your value to any company that's looking to hire an employee, to the workforce, all right? But there's also benefits, like state benefits for veterans as well. If you want to go buy a home, there's this thing called, the VA home loan. Instead of putting 20% down for a house, the government will help you kind of fully finance for the house with zero down. So you can you could be like me and buy a home in Hawaii for $600,000, and still be good. You won't have to come back with that down payment.
Yeah, very good. Any healthcare insurance or something?
So while you're serving the U.S. Army, your health care is 100% paid for in active duty. So that's not just including you. If you're married, your wife or husband will also get the free health care. And then if you have children, they'll cover your children as well. So you don't have to worry about paying for any hospital visits, even when you have a baby, you know, that's all covered for, or even when you go to get checked up on.
Do you get pay or any retirement plan?
So yes, we do have retirement plan. We have this thing called TSP, or Thrift Savings Plan. It's kind of contribution based on your salary. So if you contribute 3%, the government will match your contribution rate up to 5%. If you put in 3% of your paycheck, the government will also put in the same value into your retirement plan. So the more you put in, the better. Maxes out at 5%. But if you decide to stay in the 20 years in the Army, there's this thing called a pension check. It's basically what I call a retirement check for the rest of your life. So whatever you're making at 20 years, they cut that in half, and then they give you that for the rest of your life, whether you are working or not. You know, so that never goes away.
Does the green card holder they can join the Army?
Yes, we accept green card permanent residents to join the Army and citizens as well. So if you are a permanent resident, one of the cool things is about the Army, joining the Army, is that we provide this special benefit. It's called expedited service waiver. When you submit your naturalization paperwork, even if you you're brand new and you just got your 2-year green card, after you finish basic training in AIT, you could submit your citizenship, your N400 form for citizenship, and it will be looked at and reviewed faster than the current time of waiting, which is, you know, I think you need a minimal requirement of 4 years as a permanent resident status, a little bit over 4 years, but this waives that time requirement. So it speeds up your citizenship. So you usually get an answer back within 6 to 9 months for your interview, and then once you get your interview, it's within another like a month to get your naturalization form. So the steps goes like this. Once you join the Army, you go to basic training, which is about 9 weeks and 4 days, and then AIT is the school for the job that you pick to do in the Army. So let's say you want to become a nurse, so you go through nursing school, which is, you know, about 52 weeks long, and the harder the job, the longer the time it takes for the school, but the easier the job, the faster the school. I guess fixing like cars is easier than becoming a nurse. So if you want to be a mechanic in the Army, it takes about 16 weeks. So after 16 weeks, you know, you can apply for your citizenship, and you'll get a response back within 6 to 9 months about your application, and then, you know, the next part is going to do the interview for your naturalization.
So instead of have to wait 9 years and 4 years and 9 months, they only wait 16 weeks.
Yes, so there's an additional form besides the N400. The N400 is the application for naturalization, and then the N426 is what we call the waiver form for military service. So it waives also the time requirement for you to apply for the N400 naturalization status form.
So what is the requirement to join the Army?
So there's a couple requirements. Predominantly, you have to be aged between 17 and 34. And you have to be either a permanent resident or a citizen. You have to have a clean record, so no open cases against you. You can have traffic tickets and stuff like that, but no open cases against you. You have to be in good physical health. We accept people with tattoos, but there's no tattoos beyond your wrist and beyond your neck area.
So you say that just in a good health condition doesn't require any strength, like really strong people?
No, so you don't have to be strong coming into the Army. A lot of people there's another misconception is that, you know, they expect you to be an athlete when you come in, but you don't have to be an athlete. Basic training is there to kind of teach you how to get stronger physically and mentally strong. All right, so when you come in, you know, if you don't know how to do a push-up, you know, we'll teach you how to do a push-up, we'll teach you to do sit-ups, and we teach you how to run, okay? So you don't have to worry about being strong coming in. We'll teach you how to do that.
Do the Army require any height or the weight for the male and female to join the Army?
Yes, so the male, you have to be about 5 foot, And for females, the minimal height is 4'10".
And about the weight?
And weight, so weight is different by age and by height. So just in general, you cannot be, you know, too fat, I guess. So you have to be in, you know, a decent physical condition. You don't have to be super skinny, but just a decent physical condition.
Okay, but I have class, so can I join the army?
Yes, you can join an army with glasses. I used to wear glasses too, but in the army, it's one of the benefits that we have is corrective surgery. So I had PRK done, so it's a non-invasive versus LASIK, and it was all given to me as part of the army compensation package, and it was free for me. So I corrected both my eyes to perfect vision, so I don't need to wear glasses anymore.
Do you have any message for the Vietnamese community?
Yes, I would say if you are young, if you are hungry and you want to change your life and you're looking for a better opportunity for yourself or make a better future for your family, I'd say, you know, give me a call so we can see what we can do, because there's so much opportunities in the Army that are not available, you know, are not easy on the outside that we can easily get you to do with little to no experience. So if you want to go explore the medical field and you know, you're just curious of what you can actually do, you know, come to me, you know, ask me your questions and let's see what we can do for you.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you.